Alright guys, so you have your strips here. Actually, while I was resetting up the camera, I actually went ahead and cut more. But I'm only going to demonstrate this on one wheel, and then the rest of these are for my other three. A little bit of water. Now, workstation's a little messy because I got back yesterday from the track, so I have some batteries set up here for charging. Haven't done that yet. But see, the next step is you take your strip and you take your wheel and you lay it right up against where it's still glued down to the rim, right up against the sidewall there, and you're going to fold it. Wrap it right around, just so you could see how it's going to line up your edges. And this is where, if you need to trim the length, you will. If you need to, you want your edges so they butt up, like so. Don't worry about here. Obviously, you can trim that later. We're just forming the foam insert right now. And obviously, we can cut this if we need to, or what so. Just a single one. Don't do it with two. Just get one done. Now, see, it has a slight curve. You're just getting the foam used to bending. Just slightly. You do the same thing on the other. Doesn't want to fight me. Just wrap it around. Get it to where you want it. Just to get it somewhat curved. Now here, this is where you have a heat gun. Hair dryer, maybe. I have a heat gun. Just put it on low. You can heat it up a little bit. It'll start forming a little bit tighter. Pick it up high. Be very careful, this gets real hot. You don't want to burn yourself. But give it a second, let it cool back down. And you can see it's got a nice shape to it. The more you do it, the more shape it'll get. But we don't want to do the final heat just yet. So the difference, this I did without the heat gun. This one I did with the heat gun. One's a little straighter. They both have a slight bend. This has a little bit more bend. And as I work it, it'll get more and more. So the one with the more bend, I'm going to say is going to be the inner. And do that. Line them up. One shorter than the other. Also with the heat, the foam will have a tendency to shrink. But they are the same size when you lay them flat. So, yeah, there's two ways that you can do this. This is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to join these two pieces together. Barge cement. You want to put a thin layer coat, because the thicker it is, the longer it takes to dry, and you're putting a coat on both ends. You're putting, no, let's see if you can see that. Putting a thin coat. Nice and even. Get all your edges nice and thin. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And then when it becomes tacky, you don't want to glue them together with it super wet. It has to be tacky. That's why we got the heat gun. Hair dryer, if you have one, will work probably. Heat gun works better, quicker. And you can buy a heat gun for $20 from Harbor Freight. You could probably get one off of Amazon for even cheaper, or maybe around the same size. I don't know. I went to Harbor Freight and got mine at the time when I was building foam armor. But like the other one. Good. Nice, even, thin. Doesn't have to be thick. Just, you want it to be thin enough. Alright, set that off to the side. Grab a drink of water. It's already starting to dry. Take my heat gun on low. Give it a little helping hand here. Yeah, it's tacky. You want to line it up the best you can. This stuff, once it's attached, you will not be able to get it apart. And voila. Okay. Now you might want to clean up your wheel a little bit better than I cleaned mine up. I didn't really spend a lot of time cleaning this up. Yeah, you have to go gently. And so by doubling it, you might want to make your pieces a slight longer than I did. And you might take a couple tries to get this right. Right now, I'm working on forming it. So it's taking that shape. This is where I'm going to try to lay it in right where I want it to look. And you might have to cut some, but the idea is to see where we're at first. Because I still can go over that. That's going to be nice. I mean, it's slightly thinner than that, but it's a tougher foam too. So I'm going to flip this over. Just see where we're at. Now you will be gluing this to the rim, but taking a little bit of work here. So I want to see where we're at as far as thickness. If this doesn't work, I will use one of the other thumbs and go thinner. But look at that. I mean, takes a little work, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of patience. I should say a lot of patience. You're just going to work it. In there. As far as you can get it. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a heck of a lot. It's definitely a beefier tire. I was slowly working it in. In fact, Oh, let's see what we got here. Let's see what I can do to help myself here a little bit. And you're squishing too as you're doing this. And heck, we might not even have to glue it in. Alright. So this is the tucking part that's tough. And what I'm finding out is I am going to have to trim it. Definitely have to trim it. I wish I had a flathead. Do I have a flathead? Let's see if I have a flathead. Come on. Yeah, it's just being stubborn. It's because I got the lip folded in on itself. But I need to do this to see where I'm at as far as how far I have to cut back. Which definitely a tougher, more firm tire, as you can see. But here's the thing. I gotta cut all this excess off, plus some. So that's what we're looking at. So we want to roll this lip again. course, I could add heat to it to make it stretch easier, but so this is the first one, guys. First one I'm doing. Like, obviously, I gotta cut some of the foam out. So I gotta roll it back off. You're kind of learning as I am. But I like it. It's a lot tougher wheel. Alright, let's fold that back. Boom. Nice little sea foam. And I'm going to say my first initial guess, that's riding right there. I need to have that for gluing. So to see where this groove is, I have to go right in the inside of that. Handy dandy knife. This doesn't have to be exact. Flatten this out. Gonna need a little bit more blade. I don't think I need that much of a blade. If you want, you can put down the straight edge. Now I know I'd rather take too little off than too much. So I'm thinking my original mock-up was pretty much, yeah, my original mock-up piece was right there. It's the same amount I want to take off. I took my pen off my original mock-up. And you should guys always mock something up. And I'm gonna put a couple lines in there, just for ha-has. Because run this blade right down. That's how strong that stuff is. Now we're going to play the stuffing game again. But first, we're going to do that. Flip it back. Alright guys, so after a little bit of finessing, now this foam is more rigid, so the tire is going to be definitely a lot firmer, and it also takes a lot of manipulation to get the rubber back over and the tire back over the foam and to glue the bead. But here we go. Here's what it looks like. Nice and firm. Obviously, I don't have a way of showing you that it's pretty balanced. Done. Definitely. Like hardly any give in that thing. Don't know how these are going to perform. We're going to get them on the rig and we're going to bench test it, see what they all look like. So I got to do the other 4. And then, I mean, not the other 4, the other 3. Because you want them even. So I'm going to throw the other ones in the oven and bake them up and break the bead on those. And then we will have 4 just like this. Now obviously the measurements that we're doing for this specific tire, they were based off of the foam that was in it. Each tire, depending on its diameter and its size, will vary, and obviously like you saw, I actually had to take it back off and trim some more out. So expect to do that. Expect that you're gonna have to trial fit. Don't glue everything in right away. Like trial fit it to see on thickness and actually length and how the tire will fold over to lock the bead in. You know, and it also depends on the kind of foam you guys get. Like I showed you what I was using, which is this stuff, which is cosplayers use for building costumes and stuff. But I'm sure that you could probably get away with doing floor mats, any other kind of foam on that. But when we return, we'll have the other 3 done, and we'll be bolting it up to the rig and giving it a bench test, and then we might even take it for a spin outside real quick just to make sure everything's up and running correctly. So, and as far as like I showed you, the tear inside the tire, there's a few ways of fixing that. One, you can glue it closed. Super glue you could. The other is you can use some plastic tip on it, or you can use some Flex Seal if you have that. All the above would work perfectly fine to repair the hole. Trying to find the hole. See, this tire has no foam in it. It all extended out of that hole. Oh, there it is. See, it's almost impossible to see when it's there. But then when I did this, there's a split right there. Easy enough repair. And I might not even have to repair it because this foam is so much more, there's no give. So definitely more solid. But we'll see. So let's let me go do that, and we'll do probably this video, and this is getting kind of long, so I'm probably gonna do a 2-part on this video. So let me get these in the oven, heat them up so I can pop that bead, and we'll be right back. Well, there she is. So, like anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. This was my first attempt at doing this, and I've learned some things along the way. So, all the tires, this one's still got some glue drying, but are done. So this was my first one that I did. Actually, it came up pretty good. Should have cut the foam down a little bit more. Hence the bulging here on the side walls. But overall, pretty good. This was my second one. I cut the foam down a little bit more, just not quite enough. The bulging on the sidewall right here. Overall, a decent job. Should last, should work. This one with a glue that's, I don't know what's going on with this one. I threw some extra glue in there. I was getting glue everywhere. This is my third attempt. This is not as pretty, but I cut the foam down a little bit more than I did the last previous two. And I don't have quite the bulge happening on the sidewalls. Still could have cut it more. Which brings you to my last attempt, which was this one. And this one came out damn near perfect. Cut the foam down quite a bit. And obviously, depending on what wheel you're using, you have to, it's a back and forth scenario doing this. But there's no real give in this foam. So it feels like a solid tire. Like it was made out of solid rubber, but it's not. I know, I still got to pick that up. Now I could tell because my cutting job wasn't perfect. There's a slight wobble when you're looking at the tires and they're running. But saved me $60 this week. And I know a lot of you are like, well, that ain't much. But right now I don't have it. So $60 might as well be a million because I don't have it. Alright guys, I hope you found this video informative. It looks like rain. I didn't run the full pack, obviously. I just wanted to test it. And so far it's holding up. But the true test is going to be when I put 6S power back into that thing and go to the track. As you can see, I thought outside of the box this time. It is an experimental project. And we'll see how it holds up over the course of time. But with a little imagination and a few things laying around the shop, like you can see, you can do some quick repairs to get you back out there. You know, I will be ordering a stock set of tires and rims for it, probably more toward the end of the month. But I mean, if these hold up, then you know, I'm back out there and having a good time. And remember guys, get out there, play hard, play dirty, stay safe. I'm Michael Payne, signing off.